Well, here I am back at Cairns Airport for my regular trip down to Melbourne. It's just a couple of weeks into February, and yeah, pretty warm again today, so pretty happy to get down to Melbourne, because it's only going to be 20 degrees each day, and in a way there'll be a relief now, because it's been fairly warm over January. It's about the only quiet part of the airport around here, just going up to the Qantas lounge. I think this guy's coming down from it, but that's the first person I've seen going down that escalator, so it's pretty quiet around here, so it's a good spot to do a bit of a report. Had a bit of a nightmare morning before going, nothing to do with my preparations for the trip as such, but I wanted to buy myself a high-end camcorder, a Sony camcorder, which is very good in low light, has a big image sensor, so that means it's very good for low light photography. So I finally bit the bullet this morning and decided to buy it on eBay. Of course, you should never do that when you're just before you're about to travel, because something's going to stuff up, and of course it did. Every other time I've made a purchase through eBay, I've been given an option of debiting my credit card as opposed directly from my bank account, which has got virtually no money in it, the nominated bank account. This time it didn't give me that option, so basically seeing I'm actually was about to fly out, I had no chance of changing banking details, because that can't be done instantly on PayPal. So, and I didn't have time to transfer funds in, and that again would not be instant. The only option I had was to contact the seller and hopefully cancel the transaction. I mean, I wanted to get hold of this camcorder in enough time to familiarise myself with it prior to actually going to Vietnam. Now that's going to put me back a few days at least, and I don't know what's going to happen with this. The worst case scenario would be that this seller's just going to let the transaction go through, and the transaction will be dishonoured at the bank end because I won't have sufficient funds. But I have contacted him straight away. I've already sent an email, so I've done the right thing. So I'm not going to cop any of that. I've had a few little run-ins financially. I mean, I also had my agency, Cairns Rental Realty, tried to leave me with a bill from a plumber. They tried to lump it on me. Because their plumber referred the issue on with my hot water to the body corporate plumber, and they said, well, the body corporate plumber said there was no problems with the communal boiler, the gas boiler that heats the water, so they decided to just try to fob the bill off on me. I couldn't believe it. As a tenant, it's the first time I've ever heard of having to pay for anything like that. If you're a tenant, she tried to bluff her way into making me pay, but then I sent quite a long explanatory email to her saying it wasn't my decision to go to that particular plumber. It was your own plumber who referred them on, and so why should I be liable for it? I'm not an expert when it comes to plumbing. I had no idea. So she did respond positively to that, and then said, look, don't worry about it, you don't have to pay, and if you have any other issues with your hot water and blah blah blah. But I'm really upset the fact that she tried it on. There's no way I would have paid it, because there's no way a tenant should have to actually pay for that type of cost. I mean, if you've got an issue with something, it's up to them to have the experts come out and try to fix it. And how am I supposed to do that? So that was just the last week. And today I had that little drama with PayPal, which is not really good, and I mean, it's going to be hard for me to find out what's going on. When I get to my cousin's tonight, I'll be able to check my emails and see whether there's been a reply, although there might be something. I might be able to do that when I go to have my medical appointment. They've got Wi-Fi there, so that could work as well. We'll see. I don't know. Yeah, it's a shame about those PAs. It's very busy. This is actually Monday morning, so the airport's quite busy. And I'm glad I did actually get myself a boarding pass printed before I actually got here. The positive thing of that is, of course, you don't have to queue at the counter. It's pot luck which seat they're going to give me. They gave me an aisle seat, as it turns out, down the rear of the plane, which does actually suit me, so that's all fine. I don't like being in the centre of the seats, but that's always a chance when you don't front up and wait at the counter. But it's only a 3.5-hour flight, so I can cop that. I'm flying blind though, because I have no idea where my boarding gate is. It's presumably the same as it always has been, but I can't read the boards here. They're just too small. The print's terribly small, and it's probably one of the worst airports for information on departures that I've come across. They just don't look after people with poor eyesight. The only other one that comes to mind was actually Phuket Airport, which is also pretty ordinary. So that was that's I'm at the airport now, and that's what happened. I got my taxi. I booked a taxi again with Cairns Taxi. Got a local guy, so it was good that this guy was actually a local Cairns guy who basically he looked like a bit of a bushie. He had a really bushy white beard, and he basically rattled off this CV of different jobs he'd done since the 1970s. It was just bizarre. Could not shut him up. It's a classic sort of Cairns thing. You get someone into a conversation, they just run rampant because it's a fairly social thing as far as this is concerned. I'll find out here. But that was good. He was a nice guy, and he actually told me that he'd run a lumber yard in Papua New Guinea. So it was, everyone's got an interesting story, and he was telling me that the expats up there in those days were absolute arseholes to the locals, and he said he increased productivity at this lumber yard 50% by just treating the locals as human beings. That's how much contempt they showed them, and that was the consequence. They just had disdain for the expats. As I said to them, they probably got the dregs going there. A lot of desperados probably went up to Papua New Guinea to work, and they couldn't fit in elsewhere. It's a lot of a lot of expats who are retirees going to Southeast Asia. Some of them are pretty dodgy. And then we got on to the subject of bar girls and things like that. He's married to a Filipino woman, but he said his first marriage to a Filipino lasted 3 weeks. So she was the gold digger type. But his second marriage has been great, no problem at all. His second Filipino he married, he speaks highly of her. So, and I've seen this myself. It all depends where you meet these people, and bar girls are really high risk. You're going to get involved with them. You don't want to be looking at relationships. It's just dumb. Look, there might be a diamond in the rough, but boy, you'd have to be lucky. So that was interesting, and it cost me $21. No complaints. They've been pretty good so far, Cairns taxis, I've got to say. A higher standard than you get in Melbourne, but that wouldn't be hard to do, I imagine, or Sydney for that matter. I think there's some dodgy taxi drivers in those cities. So it's getting a little busier. The Qantas lounge is obviously a pretty quiet place, and this is certainly a little enclave, which is good for doing this, the YouTube thing. So getting to the airport was pretty easy and trouble-free, thank God, after the hassles with that, trying to buy that high-end camcorder. And the only little glitch I had after that was when I went through the scanner for the people scanner, the little arch. It beeped, mainly because I'm wearing my new shoes. These are quite solid shoes that I bought at Williams Schumann. And just I guess it's the bulk of the actual shoe that set off the alarm. Presumably they're worried about shoe bombs. That's the only thing I can imagine. But I had to remove the shoes and had to have them scanned through separately. So luckily they're pretty easy to slip on and off. But that was pretty weird. It's all pot luck. I still wore my belt. That was okay today. No problems wearing the belt. But some places you go to, you have to remove your belt, so it's really hard to work out what the protocols are. And maybe that's the way they like it. They don't want the travelling public to be too familiar with the protocols. So now I'm in Cairns Airport. Didn't get a great deal of sleep last night, but still feel refreshed after a shower. It's a warm day outside, and like I say, I'm looking forward to the temperate weather down in Melbourne for a change. It's the first time for me for a while. I love being up here, but just a break for a couple of days of 20-degree weather won't do me any harm. I've got a wind cheater to keep me warm, and I think I'd enjoy that just for a little bit of variety, to be honest with you. So hopefully gate 20 is my gate, and it's now getting to about quarter to 9. I've got a 9:30 flight, so I assume that boarding will be taking place quite shortly. So I'll go and check it out now. And if I can't find anything, I'll just have to get some assistance, but yeah, should be okay.